Tens of thousands of Ukrainians have fled the Russian invasion to neighboring Poland. And for more on the situation there in Poland, we are joined by a diplomat at the U.S. Embassy in Warsaw. Bix Aliu is the Deputy Chief of Mission there. Bix, can you tell us what the U.S. is doing in Poland there to assist those refugees from Ukraine?
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning to the great state of California. First of all, I have to commend the hospitality of Poland and other neighboring countries and in the region for hosting fleeing Ukrainians and encouraging them to we encourage these countries to maintain their borders open to those seeking refuge from the conflict. You mentioned tens of thousands. It's literally now millions. We have in Poland 1,300,000 refugees from Ukraine. And so it's really important that these countries respond to the needs of those seeking international protection. And that has to be in a way that's consistent with humanitarian principles and norms. So our cooperation with European allies and partners allows us to provide immediate assistance on the ground for those who are fleeing. And the United States is and will continue to be a global leader in international humanitarian response, including refugee resettlement. So humanitarian organizations seek to effectively deliver, needs-based assistance with impartiality, humanity, neutrality, and independence. So we, the United States, will continue to coordinate closely with and support international organizations to monitor and respond to the situation in partnership with the hosting countries and governments. And we encourage other donors to do so as well. The United States government is working closely with Poland, as well as international organizations and NGOs to support those who may seek safety in neighboring countries. But hundreds of US companies have contacted us with donations of things like telecom and medical equipment and supplies. And many of the top 50 US companies present in Poland are rallying their employees and are donating money and equipment, including Amazon, Cisco, Raytheon, and these are just to name a few. I mean, Airbnb is providing free housing for up to 100,000 refugees in Central and Eastern Europe, and with their primary efforts their primary efforts are focused on Poland. Excuse me. Lime Scooters is providing blood donors with a free ride to blood donation centers. Companies are being very, very creative. American companies in the ways that they help. Refugees can use these scooters for free rides at Polish border crossings. We're watching these offers keep pouring in, and we're so grateful for each and every one.
Can you foresee if any of the refugees will be sent to the U.S.?
So, that's a complex, and the way that refugee resettlement works, all refugee cases in countries abroad are processed by local authorities. So here it would be the government of Poland. So Ukrainians shouldn't contact the United States or apply visas to travel to the United States as refugees, because travel as a refugee is not possible in that way. What has to happen is the people in country here, and I'm not just saying Ukrainian refugees, because we also have third country nationals that are traveling across the border from other countries. What they need to do is they need to contact the authorities of Poland, and then we will work with UNHCR, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, and our posts to determine whether those who have fled to Ukraine to another country require resettlement in a third country because they're not safe in their current location. So this process takes time. It can be years, but the chief pillar, the first person that people need to go to is the local authorities. And the United States will assess vulnerability as a central tenet of any refugees admissions program. But obviously, we won't discriminate on the basis of country of origin either.
Now, I know you over the years, and you've worked at diplomatic posts in many countries throughout the Middle East and Europe there. Can you, on a personal level, compare the magnitude of what you're witnessing unfold in Poland to what you saw in places like Kosovo and the Persian Gulf during the conflicts there?
That's a really good question, Kelly. The issue, first of all, it's extremely unfortunate that you remember that I've been in all these countries and this has happened, because we seem to say never again, yet this happens over and over. And it is traumatic. It is mortifying to see people lose every single thing that they have. I think what I found extremely gratifying 20 years ago in Kosovo, but also now here in Poland, is the way that the Polish people, and then in Kosovo, the Albanian people, the way they open their arms to housing these people in their homes. So, when you're at the border now and you see these people that have waited up to 48, or more hours trying to cross from the Ukraine side into the Poland side, when you get to Poland, you see this welcome from ordinary citizens that have gone down to help these people. They've set up, tents with food and toys, and they take these people into their homes. And that's really, really amazing. That, coupled with the assistance that Europe and the United States, again, we're one of the largest donors in these situations. What we have done is truly amazing. But yet again, that's juxtaposed with a tragedy that shouldn't be happening in 2022.
Just heartwarming to hear those stories. On a personal note from you, can you talk about what, if any, military action the U.S. military is taking there in Poland?
So, currently we have about 10,000 of our warriors of freedom here. We've got 10,000 members of the American military. Thank you for, we thank them for their service. We've got a brigade of the 82nd Airborne Division. They're basically here to reassure and deter. As you know, Poland is a member of NATO. NATO allies, the defense cooperation between Poland and the United States is very, very strong. It's closer than it's ever been. And so, since I think January 30th, we've doubled the number of our military personnel deployed here. We've significantly increased the type of military equipment and capabilities that we've positioned in Poland. But as President Biden has said, we will defend every inch of NATO territory, but we will not be sending U.S. troops to fight in Ukraine. The troops in Poland are here to deter foreign aggression and to reassure our allies. This is the eastern flank, and we want to make sure that the other side sees that it is a fortified border, and we will protect our NATO allies.
Finally, what would you like Americans back home to know about what's happening there in Poland?
I think what we get a lot of questions about how people could help and what they can do to help. I always guide people to go to those organizations that they know, that they've worked with before, and provide them with whatever means or whatever capabilities that the person has. So, for example, the Red Cross, the International Red Cross, or the Polish Red Cross, is an organization that's going to get the needs to where it needs to be. But everybody has a means to do that. I think what we have to, and I hate to sound naive about this, but we've got to stop this. We've got to stop saying never again and then watching it happen over again. The United States, as President Biden recently said, the United States stands up for freedom, and we stand up to bullies, and we will stand up to this bully. So, pray for our countrymen, pray for the brave men and women that are here representing the United States. But, say a prayer for Ukrainians, because they need that right now.
Bix Aliu, Deputy Chief of Mission in the U.S. Embassy in Warsaw, Poland. Thank you for your introspection, your observance, and we'll check back with you, and stay safe.
Thank you so much, Kelly.